The girl in the alley. The rain hit the ground softly, but the wind made it sharp and cold. Neon lights flickered on broken signs. It was a normal night in New Horizon City. A tired young man named Evan walked home, his backpack heavy and his eyes half closed. Evan was just a technician. He fixed small machines and old robots. He didn't have dreams of being a hero. He only wanted peace and a warm meal after work. But that night, something strange happened. As he passed an alley between two old buildings, he heard a sound. It was soft, like someone crying, not loud, almost like a whisper. He stopped. Most people wouldn't. They would walk faster. They would ignore the sound. But Evan turned and looked into the alley. At first, he saw nothing. Only trash bins, shadows, and rainwater. Then he saw her, a small figure sitting on the ground, knees pulled close, arms wrapped around her legs. Her skin was pale blue. Her hair was silver and messy. Her clothes were torn. She was shivering. Evan stepped closer. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked. The girl looked up. Her eyes were big, glowing faintly in the dark. Not human. An alien. Evan froze for a moment. Aliens weren't new. They visited Earth after the peace treaties. Some lived here. But most people stayed away from them. And this girl, she didn't look like a visitor. She looked lost, broken. She tried to speak but coughed instead. She looked scared, like a child hiding from something. "I'm not going to hurt you," Evan said gently. "Do you need help?" She looked at him. Slowly, she nodded. Evan took off his jacket and placed it over her shoulders. She flinched at first, then held it tightly. "Can you walk?" She tried to stand. Her legs shook. She nearly fell, but Evan caught her. "All right, let's get you out of the rain," he said. He didn't know why he was doing this, he just couldn't leave her there. They walked slowly. People on the street looked at them but said nothing. Some stared. Some laughed. A few whispered. "Just ignore them," Evan said to her. "You're safe with me." He took her to his small apartment. It wasn't big, but it was warm and dry. He made her sit on the couch and gave her a towel. She wrapped it around herself, still shaking. "Are you hungry?" Evan asked. She nodded, eyes still on the floor. He brought her some soup. She looked at it strangely, then slowly began to eat. "My name's Evan," he said. "What's your name?" She opened her mouth, then stopped. She looked confused. "I don't remember," she whispered in broken English. Evan's eyes narrowed. "You don't remember?" She shook her head. "Everything. Dark. I ran. I don't know from where." "Ran from what?" She didn't answer. Her hands shook again. Evan noticed small marks on her wrists, like metal cuffs had once been there. That night, Evan let her sleep on his couch. She curled up under a blanket, looking like a child. He watched her for a while, then went to bed, but he couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. Around 3 a.m., his smart window flashed red. Movement detected outside. Evan got up and looked outside. A small black drone hovered near his window, scanning the apartment. It had no logo. Not police. Not government. The drone flew away after a few seconds. Evan's heart beat faster. He turned to check on the girl. She was awake, sitting up, eyes glowing in the dark. "They found me," she said softly. Evan's voice was quiet. "Who?" She didn't answer. Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't want to bring danger," she whispered. I thought I lost them." "You're safe here," Evan said, though he wasn't sure if that was true anymore. She looked at him with sad eyes. "You're kind. No one ever helps. Not like you." He nodded. "I just couldn't leave you." She lay down again, but didn't close her eyes. She stayed awake the rest of the night. So did Evan. He looked at the rain outside and wondered what kind of trouble he had just brought into his life. Something told him this was only the beginning. The sky was still dark, When Evan opened his eyes, he had not really slept. Every sound from outside made his heart beat faster. He looked toward the couch. The girl was gone. Evan stood up fast. "Kale?" he called out. He didn't know her real name, but in his mind, he had started calling her Kale. There was no answer. The blanket was folded neatly. His front door was open just a little. Cold air came in. He rushed outside. The street was empty. The city was waking up, but it still felt strange. Too quiet. Then he heard it. A voice. It came from behind the building, soft, singing. He followed the sound and found her sitting on the edge of the roof, looking at the morning sky. Her silver hair blew in the wind. The rain had stopped, but her skin still glowed in the soft light. "You scared me," Evan said, stepping forward. "I didn't want to wake you," she replied without turning. "I thought you ran away." "I tried," she said. "But something pulled me back." "You pulled me back." Evan sat beside her. "You remember anything yet?" She shook her head. "Only pieces, lights, pain, voices in a language I don't know, and metal walls." "Were you in a prison?" She nodded slowly. "I think so, but not Earth prison. It was floating, cold, far away." Evan frowned. "A ship?" She nodded. Again. "I ran. I escaped, I don't know how, but I got here." Evan was silent for a moment. "You're not just some poor alien girl, are you?" She looked at him, her eyes sharp. "No, I don't think I am." He blinked. "So who are you?" She paused, then whispered, "I don't know yet, but someone dangerous wants me gone." Evan looked around. "I think they already found us." She stared at him. He told her about the drone from last night. Her face went pale. "They're coming," she said. "They won't stop. They'll burn everything to find me." Evan stood up. "Then we can't stay here." She nodded. "We need to move." As they went back inside to pack, Evan's smart device made a soft chime. A message appeared. "You have something that doesn't belong to Earth? Turn her in. Or you both." There was no sender name, just coordinates, very close to his building. Evan stared at the screen, heart pounding. "They're already here," he whispered. Suddenly, Kyle grabbed his hand. Her touch was warm, but something strange happened. The screen on his device glitched. Then it glowed with a strange blue light. "What did you do?" he asked. She looked confused. "I didn't mean to, I just touched it." His device now showed a symbol. 3 circles inside a triangle. He had never seen it before. "That symbol," she whispered. "It was on the wall, in the place I escaped from." Evan looked at her. "This isn't just about you running away, is it?" She looked at him with sad eyes. "I think I stole something, or maybe I am the thing they want back." There was a loud bang outside, not thunder. A vehicle landing, heavy. Evan grabbed a small emergency pack. "We need to go. Now." They ran out the back, down into the old tunnels under the city, places where cameras didn't work and no one went anymore. As they walked, Kale stopped suddenly. "What is it?" Evan asked. "I remembered something," she whispered. "Not a name, not a place, a sentence." She closed her eyes, and in a calm voice said, "The girl of light must never reach Earth's key, or the balance will fall." Evan felt cold. "What does that mean?" Kale looked at him. "I think I'm the girl of light." He stepped back. "Then who's the key?" She looked at him in silence, and Evan suddenly felt very, very afraid. The city lights above were far away now. Evan and Kale moved through the old tunnels under New Horizon City. These tunnels were forgotten by most, dark, cold, and full of silence. The kind of silence that made your ears ring, but something else moved in that silence, something that didn't breathe, Something hunting. Kale walked slowly, her fingers touching the tunnel wall. Her eyes glowed faintly, pale silver, like moonlight, trapped in glass. "We're not alone," she whispered. Evan stopped walking. "What do you mean?" "I feel them. The shadows. They're close." Evan turned his head quickly, trying to listen. He heard nothing. Then far behind them, a soft, clicking sound. Metal on stone. 1, 2, 3 clicks. Then silence again. Evan's voice dropped to a whisper. "Who are they?" Kale looked at him. "Not human, not alive, but they follow orders, and they only stop when the target is dead." "Target?" "Me." Evan's heart raced. "Why are they after you? Just tell me the truth." Kyle looked down. Her voice was low. "Because I was never supposed to escape." Suddenly, the lights in the tunnel flickered. Old systems waking up for a moment. A shadow moved across the wall. Not one, not two. 3 tall figures, thin, long, and smooth. Their eyes glowed red and they didn't walk. They glided. Evan pulled Kale behind an old support beam. "What are those things?" Kale's voice trembled. "Hunters, built by the royal class, programmed to find anyone carrying forbidden code." Evan blinked. "You have forbidden code? Inside you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she placed her hand on the wall. The old stone shimmered, revealing a hidden symbol, the same triangle with 3 circles from Evan's device. The wall opened. A hidden door. She pulled him inside, just as one of the hunters turned their glowing eyes toward them. The door closed. Darkness. Then, soft blue light filled the space. They stood in a room buried under the city. It was round like a chamber. Old machines lined the walls, alien tech, sleeping but not dead. Kyle touched one of the consoles. It came alive under her hand. "You've done this before," Evan said. She nodded. "I didn't remember until now, but this place, it's part of me." "You built it?" "No," she said. "My people did, long ago, before Earth was free." Evan stepped forward. "Then who are your people?" Kale looked at him for a long time. "I was born in the core worlds. My name is Kaelri Nara. I was, the youngest daughter of the High Throne." Evan's mind froze. "Your royalty?" "Yes. But I refused to be part of what they planned. They wanted to use the key to control the lower systems, including Earth. And you ran?" "I stole the location of the key. I hid it. But they caught me, locked me away in a ship designed to erase memory. But something went wrong. I escaped, and I ended up here." Evan backed, away slowly. "So that key, they think it's here?" "No," she said. "They think you are the key." He laughed nervously. "Me? I'm just a repair guy." "No," she said, stepping closer. "You touched the code. You opened the gate. Only someone with hybrid blood could do that." Evan stared at her. "Hybrid? Your ancestors mixed with off-worlders. Long ago. It's rare, but it's in your DNA. That's why you're important." Before Evan could speak again, the room shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. "They found the door," Kale said. "What now?" Kale walked to the center of the chamber. "Now, I stop running." She closed her eyes. Her body glowed brighter. Her skin shimmered. Symbols appeared along her arms, floating just above the skin like tattoos made of light. The room responded. Machines powered up. Energy filled the air. Evan stood back, amazed and terrified. Outside, the hunters blasted the hidden door. It cracked, then opened. They entered. Kyle opened her eyes. "Evan, stay behind me." One of the hunters raised its weapon. Kale raised her hand. A wall of light exploded between them. Pure energy. The hunter fired. The beam hit the light wall and bounced off, destroying one of the chamber walls. Kale stepped forward. Her voice no longer shook. I may have forgotten who I am, but my blood remembers. She raised both hands. The chamber itself responded. Energy flowed from her into the machines. The hunters began to glitch. One by one they fell, crashing to the ground in sparks and smoke. Evan stared, speechless. Kale turned to him. This is just the beginning. Others will come, stronger, smarter. Then, what do we do? Evan asked. We stop hiding, she said. We find the rebels. We finish what I started. The underground chamber was quiet now. The hunters were gone, broken, silent, smoking. Kale stood in the center, glowing with soft, silver light. The symbols on her arms had faded, but Evan could still feel the power in the air. It felt like electricity, but alive. She looked weak. Her body shook. Sweat rolled down her face. Evan rushed forward and caught her just before she fell. You used too much, he said. I had to, she whispered. Or we'd both be dead. He laid her down gently. Her skin felt warm, too warm, like her body was burning from the inside. Kale, what's happening to you? She looked at him with tired eyes. My powers, they're returning too fast. It's not natural. It's like something is forcing them open. Can we stop it? No, but maybe you can help me control it. Evan blinked. Me? I'm no one. I fix broken vending machines. She gave a small smile. That's exactly why it has to be you. You're not made for war. That means you won't lose control like I might. Evan helped her sit up. What do I have to do? Kale pulled out a small metallic disc from her pocket. It had the triangle and circle symbol on it. Place your hand here. He hesitated. Will it hurt? She looked at him. Yes. He sighed. Great. He placed his hand on the disc. Suddenly, pain. A sharp heat shot through his hand, into his arm, straight to his head. Visions flashed in his mind. A world burning. A city floating in space torn apart by energy beams. A throne made of crystal. Kyle. Younger. Standing in chains, screaming in silence. Evan fell back, gasping. What was that? He asked, holding his head. You saw what I see, Kale said softly. My memories. The truth. You were a prisoner. Your own people hurt you. She nodded. Because I said no. Because I wanted peace. Evan looked at her. Then why do you still want your powers back? She didn't speak for a moment. Then she said, because power isn't always evil. Sometimes it's the only way to protect those who can't protect themselves. Evan sat beside her. But if it changes you? She looked away. Then I need someone to bring me back. They sat in silence. Then Kale stood slowly. We have to move again. That blast woke up the city's sensors. More will come. Where do we go? Kale turned. Her eyes now had small golden sparks in them. To the old skyport, there's a rebel contact there. If she's still alive, she'll help us. Rebels? Evan said. You mean like space freedom fighters? Yes, Kyle said. And they hate the throne more than anyone. But they won't trust me easily. They think I'm the enemy. You kind of were. Kyle nodded. Exactly. As they moved through the tunnels, Evan couldn't stop thinking about the visions. That crystal throne, that burning planet. Kale's scream. He had helped her, protected her. But now, he wasn't sure if he was walking beside a savior or a weapon. They reached the exit ladder of the tunnel. Kale climbed first. Evan followed. They came out into the edge of the skyport, once a busy transport zone, now abandoned, broken by time. A voice echoed. Drop your weapons. 3 figures stood on the other side of the broken landing bay. All wore black armor with green symbols on their chests. One woman stepped forward, short hair, sharp eyes, a gun in her hand. Kyle raised her hands. We come in peace. I'm looking for Captain Reyna. The woman narrowed her eyes. That's me, and you're dead. Or supposed to be. Kale lowered her hands. I'm not your enemy. Then why did 3 Hunter-class ghosts die under the city? Reyna snapped. You know how many people would die just to protect a throne brat like you? Evan stepped forward. She saved me. She saved the city. She could have run, but she didn't. Reyna looked at him, then at Kale. He's Earthborn? Yes, Kale said. And he holds the key. Reyna's face changed. She lowered her weapon slightly. You brought it here? Not on purpose, Evan muttered. Reyna sighed. All right, come with me. But know this. If you lie to me, or if you lose control again, I won't hesitate to put you down, princess or not. Kale nodded. Fair. They walked together toward the old hangars, and behind them, high above in the stars, a giant ship moved out of the shadows. On board, a dark figure opened its eyes. She has awakened, it whispered. Then so must I. The skyport hangar was cold, silent, and full of old machines covered in dust. Giant steel doors had rusted shut. Broken lights flickered above, casting strange shadows. Captain Reyna led Kale and Evan through a narrow hallway behind the hangar. Her boots made sharp clicks on the metal floor. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. The weapon on her back spoke louder than words. Finally, they entered a small control room. Inside stood an old woman with silver hair tied back in a thick braid. Her one good eye studied Kale like a hawk. The other eye was robotic, glowing faint blue. The woman smiled. So, the lost princess returns. Kale didn't smile back. I need answers. I need control. The woman stepped closer. You need the truth, and I'm the only one here who can give it to you. Evan frowned. Who is she? Reyna spoke quietly. This is Mira. She helped build the code that powers Kale's blood. Evan blinked. You built her? Mira laughed, a short, cold sound. No, not built. Unlocked. Her kind were born with power, but that power was locked away at birth. Only the royal bloodlines were taught to use it. Kyle crossed her arms. Then unlock all of it. I'm ready. No, Mira said. You're not. Kale stepped forward. I'm running out of time. Mira's face grew hard. That's exactly why we must be careful. There's a reason the others went mad. Kale's voice dropped. The others? Mira nodded. You weren't the only one who escaped the throne's control. 3 before you tried. 2 died. 1 vanished. Evan looked at Kale. You never told me that. I didn't know, she whispered. Mira motioned to a chair. Sit. Let me show you what's hidden. Kale sat. Mira placed a strange crown-like band over her head. Lights blinked. Symbols floated in the air, codes and memory fragments. Mira began reading the patterns. Ah, interesting. There's something locked deeper than I've ever seen. Something old and not royal. Kale opened her eyes. What do you mean? Mira stared at Evan. I think it's him, she said. Evan took a step back. What? Me again? Mira waved him over. Give me your hand. Evan hesitated, then held it out. She placed a scanner over his skin. The machine beeped. A soft tone rang out. A symbol appeared in the air, a tree made of stars. Mira gasped. That mark, it belongs to the first light, the original bloodline. Kyle stood. That's impossible. The first light was wiped out thousands of years ago. Mira shook her head. Some escaped. Some hid on unmarked worlds, like Earth. Kyle turned to Evan, eyes wide. Your family, they're not just hybrids. They're ancient. Evan looked confused. I just fixed stuff. I was no one. Mira stepped back. You're not no one. You're the last carrier of the key, and maybe the only one who can help. Kyle, control what's coming. What is coming? Evan asked. Mira grew quiet. Then she looked out the broken window toward the stars. The one who ruled before the throne. He's waking up. Your powers, Kale, they're tied to his prison. And when you broke your chains, his started to loosen too. Kale's voice shook. You mean I woke him? Mira nodded. Yes, and now he's watching. Suddenly, alarms rang through the skyport. Reyna pulled her gun. We've got incoming! A soldier ran in. Ship above us, not friendly, dropping fast. Mira looked at Kyle and Evan. We need to run, now. As they ran through the hallways, Kyle stopped for a moment. She could feel him. The one Mira spoke of, a cold mind brushing hers, ancient, cruel, curious. He knew her name, and he whispered it in her head. Kailari Nara, come home. She fell to her knees. Evan grabbed her. Kale, what's wrong? She looked up at him, tears in her eyes. He's not just watching, she said. He remembers me, Reyna shouted from ahead. Move, now. Kale stood, shaking off the voice. The eye dirt. Let's go. They reached a hidden launch pad below the hangar. A small old rebel ship sat waiting. Reyna jumped in first, starting the engines. As Kale and Evan followed, Mira stayed behind. Why aren't you coming? Kale asked. Mira smiled sadly. I have to close the gate behind you. If I don't, he'll follow. Kale tried to speak, but Mira shook her head. Go. Find the others. You're not alone. And remember, your greatest power is the part of you that chooses peace. The ship launched. Behind them, Mira vanished in a blast of light. And far above, in the black sky, a new ship arrived made of metal and bone. The enemy had truly awakened. The stars outside the window blurred as the ship jumped through hyperspace. Kyle sat quietly, staring out. Her silver eyes no longer glowed. She looked tired, lost. Evan sat across from her, holding a warm metal cup Reyna had given him. Neither of them spoke. Not since Mira's sacrifice. Not since the voice in Kale's head. Reyna walked in. She looked annoyed. We'll reach the rebel station in 10 minutes, she said. But don't expect a warm welcome. Kale nodded slowly. I understand. Reyna leaned closer. You better. Some of the rebels lost families to the royal ships. They won't care who you are now, only what you were. Evan stood. Then why are we going at all? Reyna looked at him. Because war is coming. And like it or not, she's part of the only plan we've got. She left. Kale sighed. They hate me, even now. Evan sat beside her. You're trying to stop it. That should count. Kyle shook her head. It won't. Not for them. I wear the face of their enemy. The ship dropped out of hyperspace. Outside the window floated a giant asteroid, shaped like a broken blade. Ships flew around it, small, fast, armed. The rebel station. Welcome to Blade Point, Reyna said. As they landed, guards rushed out, guns raised. Their armor was patched, dirty. Real. Not royal. Not safe. As Kale stepped down, whispers broke out. Is that her? The princess? She should be dead. A tall man walked forward. Gray beard, one eye, scar over his mouth. He didn't bow. He didn't smile. He walked right up to Kale. You should have stayed lost, he said. Evan stepped in. Back off. She came to help. The man stared at Evan. And you are? Evan. From Earth. Something changed in the man's face. He pointed at Evan's chest. That blood of yours, it started this mess. Kyle raised her voice. Stop. We came to warn you. The old one is waking. The hunters were only the beginning. The man's eyes narrowed. We know. One of our listening posts was wiped out yesterday. No signal. No trace. Reyna stepped forward. We need help. Fighters, ships, a base to regroup. The man spat. On the floor. You'll get a room, that's it. He turned and walked away. Kale looked at Evan. He'll never trust me. He doesn't have to, Evan said, but we need to find someone who will. They followed the guards through metal halls. The station was loud and alive. People worked, repaired, argued, trained. But everywhere Kyle walked, eyes followed her with fear or hate. They reached their room. It was small, bare, just a bed and a screen. Evan threw himself down. So, this is our big alliance? Kyle didn't answer. She stood still, her hands shaking. What if I do bring war with me, Evan? What if they're right to fear me? He looked at her. Then maybe you use that fear to fight for the right thing. She looked away. I don't want to be feared. He stood and stepped closer. Then show them who you really are. Not a princess, not a weapon, just you. Suddenly the screen on the wall beeped. An emergency message. Reyna's face appeared. We've got incoming. One of ours is limping. Back from deep space. She says she found something. A survivor. Kale's eyes lit up. Survivor? From where? Evan's stomach dropped. What if it's from Mira's lab? They ran. Minutes later, they reached the landing bay. A small, damaged ship had just touched down. The pilot stepped out, barely walking, blood on her arm, burn marks on her suit. She looked up, saw Kale, and froze. You, she whispered. Kyle stepped forward. Do I know you? I was there. When they tested the control code, when you screamed, Kale's face went pale. The woman held out a small box. This is what I saved, from Mira's lab. She said to give it to him. She pointed at Evan. He stepped forward, confused. Inside the box was a tiny crystal, glowing blue, and beside it, a photo of his mother. Evan gasped. She worked with Mira? Kale looked at the crystal. That's memory-stored code, genetic, from someone close to you. Evan turned the photo over. One word was written on the back. Unlock. Suddenly, the crystal glowed brighter. Then Evan heard the voice. Not Kale's, not the old one's, but his mother's. The ancient warship drifted above Blade Point Station like a shadow from the past. Black steel. Silent engines. A design older than any rebel had ever seen. Everyone on the station could feel it. Something terrible had arrived. Kyle stood on the command deck, her fists tight, her body glowing with soft silver light. But this time, it wasn't just power in her. It was fear and choice. Evan stood beside her, holding the glowing crystal left by his mother. The memory inside had changed everything. You're part of the first light, Evan, her voice had said. But not just any part. You carry the seal, the one that can end the cycle or restart it. Now he knew. He wasn't just an accident. He wasn't just some Earth guy who helped a lost alien girl in an alley. He was part of the code that could destroy, or awaken, the old one. And the old one was coming. Outside, rebel ships scrambled to form a defense, but no one believed they would win. Inside on the command deck, Captain Reyna gave her last orders. If we fail here, there won't be another chance. This station falls, and he reaches the core planets. Kyle looked at her. Then we don't let him reach anything. Reyna raised an eyebrow. Got a plan, Princess? Kale nodded. I go up there. Alone. Evan turned. No way. Kale looked at him. It's me he wants. My blood. My memories. My power. He'll follow me. Reyna leaned forward. And, do what, talk him down? No, Kale said quietly. Lock him, from inside. Evan's heart dropped. You mean trap yourself with him? Kale didn't answer. He stepped closer. There has to be another way. There was, she whispered. But now, I can't let you do it. The crystal is bonded to you. If you go near him, he'll take it. He'll win. Evan shook his head. You're not doing this alone. Kyle placed a hand on his chest. You gave me hope when I was just a shadow. You believed I was more than a weapon. Now I have to prove you were right. She turned to Reyna. Get me a ship. Reyna gave a slow nod. One-way trip? Kale smiled. Not if I win. As Kale prepared to launch, Evan stood on the deck watching the screen. The black warship pulsed with light now. The old one was waking fully. Then, something strange. The crystal in Evan's hand began to burn. Symbols glowed in the air, and her voice, his mother's, spoke again. If she chooses the light, she won't need to lock him. She can rewrite the code, but only if someone believes in her completely. Evan's eyes widened. He ran. Up in orbit, Kyle's small fighter ship entered the enemy vessel through an open gate. Inside, silence, a temple made of steel and bone. At its center stood a figure, tall, pale, robed in shadow. No face, no voice, just presence. But he spoke in her mind. Child of light, why do you fight what you are? Kyle walked slowly toward him. Because I'm more than what you made me. He raised a hand. You are my mirror, my design. Together, we could remake the galaxy. Kyle clenched her fists. Then maybe the galaxy needs to stay broken. He laughed, deep and cold. You can't destroy me. No, she said, but I can change the story. And suddenly Evan's voice echoed behind her. I believe in you. Kale turned. Evan stood at the doorway holding the glowing crystal. She gasped. You followed me? He nodded. I trust you. That's the key, right? Rewrite it. The old one turned sharply. Foolish boy, I made that code. Kyle took the crystal. No, she said. We did. Then, light. Blinding. Bright. Alive. Kale's body rose, symbols flowing from her skin. The code inside her mixed with the code in the crystal. She reached toward the old one, and instead of fighting him, she rewrote him. She showed him her memories. The kindness of a stranger, the value of mercy, the strength in weakness, the power in not choosing war, and in the center of it all, she placed Evan's belief. The dark ship shook, cracked. The figure screamed, but not in pain. In release. Then, silence. The warship dissolved into stardust. Kale floated in space, glowing gently. Evan reached for her. Come home. She smiled faintly. I never had one. Until you. Epilogue. 6 months later. The galaxy was quiet. The throne was gone. The old one, erased, not by power, but by change. Kale worked with the rebels now. Building, not destroying. Evan, he taught kids how to fix things, and in the middle of it all, 2 chairs, side by side, in the quiet edge of a rebuilt skyport. Kyle leaned her head on Evan's shoulder. You still believe in me? He smiled. Every day.